The suitcase hit the wet pavement before Mara Ventresca did. For one stunned second, she stood beneath the stone archway of the house where she had lived for 24 years and stared at the suitcase lying open in the rain. Her clothes spilled across the driveway. A sweater her grandmother had knitted. 2 pairs of shoes. 3 books. The pale blue dress she had worn to her university graduation. Rain soaked through everything. Behind her, the front door remained open. Warm, golden light poured from the enormous Ventresca mansion onto the steps, illuminating the silhouettes of the people who had just decided she no longer belonged inside. Her father stood in the doorway. Paolo Ventresca did not look angry. That would have hurt less. He looked inconvenienced. Beside him stood Mara's stepmother, Renata, wrapped in a cream cashmere robe. And behind Renata stood her daughter, Giada, Mara's younger half-sister. Giada crossed her arms. You should pick those up before they're ruined. Mara looked at her. You threw them into the rain. Giada shrugged. Then hurry. Mara's fingers trembled. She curled them into fists. Dad. Paolo sighed. Mara, don't make this more dramatic than it needs to be. She almost laughed. More dramatic? Her voice cracked. You're throwing me out of my own home at 11 o'clock at night. This is my home. The words landed harder than the suitcase. Mara stared at him. Paolo continued. You are 24. You have a job. You are capable of taking care of yourself. My job pays barely enough for transportation and food. That is not my responsibility. You made me leave graduate school to work for the family company. I gave you an opportunity. You made me manage accounts for you 6 days a week without a proper salary. Renata stepped forward. That attitude is precisely why this is happening. Mara turned toward her. What attitude? You have become disrespectful. Because I asked where the missing money went. Everything became still. Giada's expression changed. Paolo's eyes hardened. There it was. The real reason. Not disrespect. Not independence. Not Mara being 24 and needing to find her own way, as Renata had announced over dinner. It was the account. 3 days earlier, Mara had discovered that almost $2 million had disappeared from one of Ventresca Import's development funds. The transfer had been divided among 6 companies. All 6 existed only on paper, and one of them was registered to Renata's brother. Mara had printed the records. She had brought them to her father. She had expected anger, an investigation, perhaps even gratitude. Instead, Paolo had taken the papers from her hands and asked one question. Who else have you told? Mara had said no one. Tonight, he was throwing her out. You should have minded your business, Giada said. Mara stared at her. That money belongs to the company. Giada smiled faintly. And who owns the company? Dad. Exactly. So if he wants to move his money somewhere, why is it your concern? Mara looked at Paolo. He refused to meet her eyes. Something inside her broke quietly. Not dramatically. Not with tears. It simply broke. All her life, she had defended him. When her mother died when Mara was 12, relatives whispered that Paolo had remarried too quickly. Mara defended him. When Renata began treating Mara like an unwanted guest in her own home, Paolo insisted Mara needed to adjust. So she adjusted. When Giada received the bedroom that had belonged to Mara's mother, Mara moved upstairs. When Giada received a new car for her 18th birthday, while Mara continued taking buses to university, Mara told herself money did not matter. When her father asked Mara to abandon her master's program because Ventresca Imports needed someone trustworthy in accounting, she returned home. Again and again, she mistook sacrifice for love. Tonight, she finally understood the difference. If I leave, Mara said slowly, I'm not coming back. Renata gave a small laugh. That sounds like a threat. It isn't. Mara looked at her father. It's a promise. Paolo rubbed his forehead. Enough. There's a hotel near the station. I'll have someone send you money in the morning. Mara's face burned. I don't want your money. You were just complaining that you don't have any. I said I work for you without being properly paid. That was family. No. Her voice became strangely calm. Family doesn't throw your clothes into the rain because you notice something inconvenient. Paolo's face tightened. Mara, you should go inside, Dad. She bent down. Rain soaked through her hair immediately. She began gathering her clothes from the pavement. Nobody helped. Not Paolo. Not Renata. Not Giada. The 3 of them watched. Mara placed her wet clothes inside the suitcase. The zipper would not close. She forced it anyway. One side bulged awkwardly. When she finally stood, Giada was still watching her with that little satisfied smile. "You always acted like you were better than everyone," Giada said. Mara lifted the suitcase. "I never thought I was better than you. You didn't have to say it." "You're right." Giada blinked. Mara looked directly at her. "I should have said more." Then she turned and walked into the rain. She had gone 6 steps when the door closed behind her. No one called her name. No one changed their mind. No one came after her. And if you've ever seen someone lose everything in a single night, only to discover that losing the wrong people can sometimes be the beginning of finding the right ones, subscribe to the channel, because Mara Ventresca had no idea that the car about to stop beside her would change the rest of her life. She reached the iron gates, carrying the suitcase with both hands. Rain streamed down her face. Her phone showed 9% battery. She had $43 in her bank account. No hotel in the district would accept that. Her closest friend lived 2 cities away. And because Mara had spent the last 5 years slowly allowing her family to become her entire world, there was almost no one left to call. She reached the main road. A black sedan passed. Then another. Mara barely noticed. She dragged the suitcase toward a covered bus shelter. The wool caught in a crack. She pulled harder. The handle snapped. Mara stared at it. For some reason, that was what did it. Not her father. Not Giada. Not the rain. The stupid, broken suitcase handle. A laugh escaped her. Then another. Within seconds, she was laughing so hard tears mixed with the rain on her cheeks. Perfect. She wiped her face. Absolutely perfect. Headlights appeared through the rain. A long black car slowed. Mara moved farther beneath the shelter. The vehicle stopped. She immediately became alert. The back door opened. A man stepped out holding an umbrella. He was enormous. Dark suit. Close-cropped hair. Expressionless face. Mara took a step backward. "Miss Ventresca?" Her stomach tightened. "Who's asking?" The man looked toward the car. The rear window lowered. Mara saw another man seated inside. Dark hair. Black suit. White shirt open at the collar. He was perhaps 36. His face was composed, almost severe, but it was his eyes she noticed first. Cold gray. Patient. Recognizing. Mara knew him. Everyone did. Leon Arcury. Some newspapers called him a businessman. Others preferred property developer. The city's prosecutors had called him many things over the years, although they had never managed to make any of those descriptions matter in court. People in Mara's father's world used a simpler description. The man you never crossed twice. Leon Arcury controlled the Arcury organization. He owned docks, warehouses, construction companies, and enough legitimate businesses that nobody could ever agree where the legal empire ended and the other one began. Mara's father despised him. More accurately, her father feared him. Leon looked at the broken suitcase. Then at Mara. "Get in." She stared. "No." The large man holding the umbrella looked surprised. Leon did not. "It's raining." "I noticed." "You're standing beside a highway." "I noticed that too." "You have nowhere to go." Mara stiffened. "You don't know that." Leon looked toward the Ventresca mansion, visible beyond the trees. "The suitcase your family threw into the driveway suggests otherwise." Her humiliation returned immediately. "You saw. My car was behind you." Mara wanted the pavement to open beneath her. Instead, she lifted her chin. "I'm fine." Leon looked at her soaked clothes. Then the broken suitcase. Then back at her face. "No, you're not." She laughed bitterly. "You don't even know me. I know enough to recognize hypothermia when it's trying to prove a point." Despite herself, Mara almost smiled. "Almost. I'm not getting into a stranger's car." "Good." That surprised her. Leon opened the opposite door. "You shouldn't get into strangers' cars." "Then why did you tell me to?" "Because I'm not a stranger." "You are to me." His gaze held hers. "Our fathers have done business for 16 years. That makes you someone my father knows." Fair distinction. He stepped out completely. Rain immediately darkened his shoulders. His guard attempted to move the umbrella toward him. Leon waved it away. He stood several feet from Mara, not close enough to crowd her. "Here is another option. My driver will take you anywhere you choose. I will take another vehicle." Mara looked at him suspiciously. "Why?" Because I dislike watching people abandon dogs in the rain. She blinked. Did you just compare me to a dog? No. His expression remained perfectly serious. I like dogs considerably more than most people. A laugh escaped her before she could stop it. Leon's eyes changed slightly. There. What? You're less likely to cry when you're annoyed. I wasn't crying. Of course not. Those were raindrops. Very emotional raindrops. Mara glared. He extended one hand. Not toward her. Toward the suitcase. May I? I can carry it. The handle is broken. I noticed. I'm beginning to understand that you notice everything. His words hit strangely close to the truth. Mara released the suitcase. Leon took it himself. His guard looked horrified. Apparently Mafia bosses did not generally carry ruined luggage. Leon placed it in the trunk. Then he returned. Where? Mara looked down the empty road. I don't know. For the first time, saying it aloud frightened her. Leon's expression became more serious. Hotel. I don't have enough. I'll pay. No. A shelter? Mara swallowed. She hated that the suggestion made her chest tighten. Leon noticed. He seemed to notice everything too. You can stay in my house. Mara stared at him. Absolutely not. The answer must have shown on her face because one corner of his mouth moved. Guest room. I understood what you meant. There are approximately 23 people living or working on the property tonight. That is supposed to reassure me. Several are elderly women who terrify me. Mara looked at him. People say you aren't afraid of anyone. They have never met Teresa. That almost earned another smile. Almost. Why are you helping me? Leon's amusement disappeared. Because I know what your father did tonight. Mara became still. You mean throwing me out? I mean why? Her heartbeat changed. What do you know? Leon looked toward his guard. Massimo. The man immediately walked several yards away. Leon lowered his voice. I know you found financial transfers. Mara stared. How? Because some of the money your father moved belonged to me. Cold spread through her. You were involved? No. Then why was your money in his account? Ventresca Imports manages part of a development project in which several companies have interests. And Dad moved money out. Yes. How much? More than you found. Mara's stomach dropped. How much? 11 million. She stared at him. That's impossible. It isn't. I checked those accounts. You checked the accounts you could see. Leon, watch her process it. Your father has a second set. Mara thought about the locked office beside Paolo's study. The one she had never been allowed to enter. Why haven't you confronted him? I was going to tonight. Her eyes moved toward the mansion. That's why you were here. Yes. And instead you found me. Yes. Mara hugged her arms around herself. Then go confront him. I can do that tomorrow. You don't postpone things. You have her search me? My father talks. Your father complains. That too. Leon looked at her wet blouse. You need dry clothes. I need answers. You can have both. Mara hesitated. He opened the rear door. She did not move. If I get inside, she said, I am not agreeing to anything. I haven't offered anything. I'm not giving you information about my father. I haven't asked, and I don't owe you because you helped me. Leon's eyes remained on hers. You owe me nothing. Something about the answer made her believe him. Not completely, but enough. Mara climbed into the car. Leon followed. His guard entered the front. The doors closed. Warmth surrounded her. For several minutes, nobody spoke. Mara stared through the rain-streaked window as the only home she had ever known disappeared behind them. She expected relief. Instead, grief arrived, quiet and heavy. Her father had really let her leave. Leon noticed her wiping her cheek. He pretended not to. She appreciated that more than she wanted to. Archery House stood on a hill overlooking the city. Mara had expected something dark, cold, a fortress. The security was certainly fortress-like. High gates, cameras, men at discreet posts. But the house beyond them surprised her. It was old stone and warm windows, surrounded by gardens and enormous cedar trees. Lights glowed across 3 floors. When they entered, a short woman with silver hair appeared from a side corridor wearing slippers and carrying a wooden spoon. She looked at Leon. You're late. Leon stopped. I was working. You were supposed to eat. I did. The woman narrowed her eyes. Liar. Mara looked at Leon. For the first time that evening, the most feared man in the city seemed almost cautious. Teresa. Yes. We have a guest. Teresa finally noticed Mara. Her expression changed instantly. Oh, sweetheart. Mara looked down. She was dripping onto an expensive rug. I'm sorry. For what? The floor. Teresa looked offended. It is stone. Then she noticed the suitcase Massimo carried. Water dripped from it. Teresa looked at Leon. What happened? Her family threw her out. Mara's face heated. Leon. What? You didn't need to announce it. Teresa placed the spoon down. Come. Before Mara could object, the older woman guided her toward the stairs. We'll find you something warm. Then soup. I'm not hungry. Everyone who says that is hungry. Mara looked back at Leon. His expression clearly said, I warned you. Teresa brought Mara into a bedroom larger than her entire childhood upstairs floor. Cream walls, a fireplace, tall windows, soft rugs, a bed that looked too expensive to touch. This is ridiculous, Mara murmured. Teresa opened a wardrobe. Most rich men have terrible taste. You're saying this is terrible? I decorated this room. Mara smiled. Then I withdraw the comment. Teresa gave her a thick robe and disappeared. Mara entered the bathroom. She stopped in front of the mirror. Her mascara had run. Her hair clung to her cheeks. Her eyes were red. She looked exactly like someone whose family had thrown her away. The thought nearly broke her again. She gripped the sink. No. The woman in the mirror stared back. No more. She showered. When she came downstairs 40 minutes later, she wore borrowed sweatpants and a sweater far too large for her. Leon sat alone at an enormous kitchen island. Not the dining room. The kitchen. His jacket was gone. His sleeves were rolled to his forearms. A bowl of soup sat untouched in front of him. Mara stopped. You actually live here? He looked up. Occasionally. I imagined you sleeping inside a bank vault surrounded by bodyguards. That sounds uncomfortable. Teresa placed soup in front of Mara. Eat. Mara obeyed. The first spoonful almost made her emotional. Chicken. Vegetables. Garlic. Simple. Warm. Safe. She hated how desperately she needed all three. Leon did not ask questions. That surprised her. He simply ate. After several minutes, Mara spoke. What happens tomorrow? To your father? To me. Leon placed the spoon down. What do you want to happen? I don't know. Then tomorrow you figure it out. That's simple. No. His gray eyes held hers. But simple and easy are different things. Mara looked toward the doorway. Your staff thinks I'm strange. My staff has seen stranger. You bring homeless accountants home often. Only on Thursdays. It's Tuesday. That explains the confusion. She smiled despite herself. Then remembered something. My phone. She pulled it from the robe pocket. 3% battery. 14 missed calls. Mara stared. Your father? Leon asked. No. Giada. Every call came from Giada. Then a text arrived. Mara, answer me. Another. You took something. Mara frowned. What? Leon watched her. What did she say? She thinks I took something. A third message appeared. Dad is furious. Bring it back now. Mara typed. I took nothing. Giada responded immediately. Don't lie. The blue flash drive is gone. Mara stopped breathing. Leon noticed. What? Mara looked at him. My father has a blue flash drive. Leon's expression changed. You know it. I've seen it once. Where? His private office. What was on it? I don't know. Leon leaned forward. Think. Mara frowned. About 6 months ago, Dad asked me to repair his laptop. He had left a flash drive connected. What did you see? Folders. Names. I didn't open them. Do you remember anything? She closed her eyes. One folder. Red letters. A date. Another name. Then she remembered. Arcury. Leon became very still. There was a folder with your name. Massimo appeared in the doorway. He had probably been listening from the hall. Leon looked at him. Get Nico. He stopped himself. Mara noticed. Who? Someone who can examine the situation. Mara looked back at her phone. If Giada thinks I have it, Dad thinks I saw what was on it. Yes. That's why they threw me out. Possibly. No. She shook her head. They threw me out before they discovered it was missing. Leon's eyes sharpened. Mara continued. They were afraid I would find more. Another message arrived. This one from her father. Come home. Mara stared. No apology. No explanation. Just an order. Leon saw her expression. You don't have to answer. I know. Her father called. The phone vibrated in her palm. Mara looked at Leon, then answered. Hello. Mara. Paolo sounded furious. Where are you? What? Answer me. I'm somewhere dry. You need to come back immediately. You threw me out. That was before. Mara almost laughed. Before what? Silence. Mara, this is not a game. No. It wasn't a game when my clothes were lying in the rain either. Where are you? I'm safe. Who are you with? She hesitated. Paolo heard it. His voice changed. Who are you with? Leon leaned back in his chair. Mara watched him. Then she answered. Leon Arcury. Silence. Absolute silence. When Paolo finally spoke, his voice had lost its anger. Put him on the phone. No. Mara. No. You have no idea what that man is. Mara looked directly at Leon. He gave me dinner. This is serious. So is throwing me onto the street. I made a mistake. The words came so quickly she almost missed them. Her father had apologized fewer than 5 times in her entire life. You made a mistake? Yes. Renata too? Another silence. We can discuss everything when you return. No. Mara, listen to me carefully. You cannot trust Arcury. Leon's face remained unreadable. Why? Because men like him do not do favors without expecting payment. Mara looked at the dry sweater around her body. The empty soup bowl. The phone charger Teresa had already placed beside her. What payment? He will use you against me. He hasn't asked me for anything. He will. Mara's chest tightened. Did you steal $11 million? Paolo stopped breathing. She knew. She knew from the silence. Mara, whatever he told you. Did you? This is company business. That's not an answer. You do not understand the agreement. Then explain it. I cannot discuss it over the phone. Convenient. Her father's voice hardened. Come home. No. You are my daughter. Mara looked down. The sentence would have meant everything 5 hours earlier. Now it felt like a key he was trying to use after changing the lock himself. You remembered that quickly. Mara, you threw your daughter into the rain. I was angry. You watched me pick my clothes off the ground. Nothing. Mara swallowed. I kept looking back. Her voice cracked. She hated it. But she continued. I kept thinking you would open that door. Leon looked away. Paolo did not speak. I thought you would come after me. Mara, you didn't. Her father exhaled. We can repair this. What? What? Why now? Silence again. Then Mara understood. The flash drive. Paolo's voice changed. You have it. No. Do not lie to me. I don't have it. It was in my office. I haven't been inside your office. You were the only person asking questions about the accounts. You think I stole it. I think Arcury convinced you. Leon's expression darkened. Mara stood. I had never spoken to Leon Arcury before tonight. Then you expect me to believe he simply found you? He did. Paolo lowered his voice. Mara, listen to me. If he has that drive, he doesn't. If he gets it, people will suffer. What people? Her father stopped. Dad. No answer. What is on the drive? You need to come home. I'm not coming home. Mara. She disconnected. Her hand shook. Leon remained seated. He waited. Finally Mara asked, do you believe me? About what? The drive. Yes. You didn't even hesitate. You asked your father what was on it rather than threatening him with it. If you had the drive, you would already know. Mara sat again. Unless I'm a good liar. You aren't. She frowned. That's insulting. It was meant kindly. That somehow makes it worse. Massimo stepped forward. Boss. Leon looked at him. Someone just arrived at the gate. Who? Giada Ventresca. Mara stood. My sister. She's alone. Mara glanced at the clock. It was nearly 1 in the morning. Why would she come here? Leon rose. His entire demeanor changed. The joking man in the kitchen disappeared. The person who replaced him was the one Mara had heard stories about. Controlled. Cold. Dangerously focused. Keep her outside until we know. Mara walked toward the hall. I'm going to her. Leon stepped in front of her. No. She's my sister. She may not be alone. Massimo said she is. Massimo said she arrived alone. Mara understood the distinction. She hated that she understood it. What do you think this is? I think your father discovered something important is missing less than an hour after throwing you out, and now your sister has arrived at my house in the middle of the night. You think it's a trap? I think coincidences are usually explanations people accept because investigating is inconvenient. Mara crossed her arms. I'm still seeing her. Leon studied her, then nodded. Inside the gatehouse. You're coming. Yes. That wasn't a request. His eyebrow lifted. Mara realized what she had done. Massimo coughed to hide a laugh. Leon looked at him. Something funny? Nothing, boss. They drove down to the gatehouse. Giada stood inside. Her expensive red dress was partly hidden beneath a black coat. Her makeup had smeared. She looked frightened. Actually frightened. Mara entered. Giada rushed toward her. You have to come with me. Mara stepped back. No. Giada noticed Leon behind her. Fear flashed across her face. Why is he here? It's his house. You shouldn't be here. You didn't mind when I had nowhere else to go. Giada swallowed. I was angry. You threw my suitcase. That was Renata. You helped. I know. Giada's eyes filled. I'm sorry. Mara stared at her. Giada never apologized. Something was very wrong. What happened? Giada looked toward Leon. I need to talk to you alone. He stays. Mara. He stays. Giada lowered her voice. Dad is in trouble. He told me. No. Giada shook her head violently. You don't understand. Then explain. Giada reached inside her coat. Massimo moved instantly. Leon raised one hand. Giada slowly removed something. A blue flash drive. Mara's heart stopped. You have it. Giada started crying. I took it. Why? Because Renata told me to. Mara stared. Our mother. Your mother. Giada corrected herself without thinking. Then winced. Mara ignored it. Why did Renata want it? She said Dad was going to blame her for everything. What everything? I don't know. You stole a drive without knowing what was on it. She was scared. Giada looked at Leon. She said if Paolo found out she had it, he would destroy it. Mara felt increasingly cold. So why bring it to me? Giada's face crumpled. Because Mom disappeared. Mara froze. What? When? 20 minutes after you left. Where? I don't know. She called someone. Then she packed a bag. Dad, let her leave. Giada shook her head. He doesn't know. Mara looked at Leon. His eyes sharpened. Giada continued. Dad thinks Mom is upstairs asleep. What? She locked the bedroom door before leaving through the service stairs. Mara stared at the drive. What is on that? I looked. Leon stepped closer. What did you see? Giada's eyes filled with fresh tears. Payments. To who? Mara asked. I don't know. Judges. Inspectors. Companies. Mara's stomach twisted. And Giada looked at Leon. There's a folder with his name. Leon's jaw tightened. What is inside? Photographs. Account numbers. Documents. Anything else? Giada's breathing became uneven. Yes. What? A recording. Mara moved closer. Of Dad. Giada shook her head. Renata. Silence. What does she say? Giada looked at Mara. She says she knows what happened to your mother. Everything inside Mara stopped. My mother died 12 years ago. Giada shook her head. That's not what she says. Mara stared. What are you talking about? I heard the recording. Giada. She says your mother's accident wasn't an accident. The room became utterly silent. Mara's knees weakened. Leon caught her elbow. She pulled away. Not because she did not want his help. Because she needed to remain standing on her own. My mother died when her car went through a barrier. Giada covered her mouth. I know. The police said the road was wet. I know. She was driving too fast. Mara. What does Renata say? Giada reached toward her. Mara stepped back. What does she say? She says Paolo knew. Mara stopped breathing. Her father. The man whose approval she had spent half her life trying to earn. The man she defended after her mother died. The man who remarried Renata 14 months later. Leon took the drive from Giada carefully. Who else knows you have this? No one. Your mother. She thinks I left in the safe place she gave me. Where? A train station locker. Leon looked at Massimo. Find Renata. Massimo nodded and disappeared. Mara barely noticed. She turned toward the gatehouse window. Rain ran down glass. Her reflection stared back. 24 years old. No home. No money. No family she understood anymore. 5 hours earlier, she had believed the worst thing that could happen was being thrown away. She had been wrong. Leon approached. Mara, don't. He stopped. I need to think. You don't have to decide anything tonight. She laughed bitterly. My entire life, apparently, needs to be decided tonight. No. His voice became softer. Tonight you need to survive learning the truth. She looked at him. And tomorrow? Tomorrow you decide what you want to do with it. Giada wiped her face. Can I stay here? Mara stared at her sister. Hours earlier, Giada had thrown her clothes into the rain. Now she stood frightened beneath Leon Arcuri's roof, asking Mara for the thing she had refused to give. Mercy. Mara looked at Leon. It's your house. His gaze never left hers. Tonight it's yours too. Something about those words cracked through the numbness. Not ownership. Not pity. Belonging. For one night, someone was giving her what her family had taken away without making her beg for it. Let her stay, Mara whispered. Leon nodded. Teresa will prepare a room. Giada looked shocked. You're not angry? Mara looked at her. I'm furious. Then why? Because I refuse to become you. Giada lowered her eyes. Leon said nothing, but Mara saw the respect in his expression. They returned to the main house. Teresa took Giada upstairs. Mara remained in the library while Leon inserted the flash drive into an isolated laptop Massimo brought him. Folders appeared. Ventresca. Port Authority. Arcuri. Renata. Elena Ventresca. Mara's mother. Her heart hammered. Leon looked at her. We can stop. No. Mara. Open it. He clicked. Inside were scanned documents. Photographs. Insurance records. Then an audio file. Dated 11 years earlier. 1 year after Mara's mother died. Leon hovered over it. Mara whispered, play it. A woman's voice filled the room. Renata, you promised Elena would never become a problem again. A man responded. Paolo, keep your voice down. Mara stopped breathing. Renata continued. And now her daughter is asking questions about the trust. The recording crackled. Paolo's reply came clearly. Mara was 12. She remembers nothing useful. Mara gripped the edge of the desk. Renata said something quieter. Then Paolo answered. When Mara turns 25, Elena's shares transfer to her unless she signs them away first. Mara's blood went cold. Her 25th birthday was in 6 weeks. The recording continued. Renata asked, and if she refuses? Paolo's answer was almost casual. Then we make sure she has no family left to run to. The audio ended. Mara stared at the screen. Leon's expression had become terrifyingly still. Not explosive. Worse. Controlled. Mara whispered, he planned this. Leon said nothing. He didn't throw me out because of the accounts. No. He needed me desperate. Yes. So I would come back. Yes. And sign whatever he put in front of me. Leon closed the laptop. Mara looked at him. Open it. You heard enough for tonight. You don't decide that. His eyes met hers. For a moment, neither moved. Then he opened the laptop again. You're right. That surprised her. Most men in Mara's life responded to defiance by becoming louder. Leon simply corrected himself. Mara looked at the folder carrying her mother's name. What shares? We find out. And the missing 11 million? We find that out too. And Renata? My people will locate her. Mara looked at him. Your people? Yes. You're going to help me. Yes. Why? There was again. The question. The one he had avoided answering completely. Leon leaned back. Your mother once helped mine. Mara froze. You knew my mother? No. Then what do you mean? When I was 17, my father was killed. Mara said nothing. Leon continued. My mother had no control over his businesses. Men who had smiled at her for 20 years suddenly decided she was an obstacle. His voice remained calm. One attorney refused to let them seize everything. Elena. Yes. Mara stared. My mother was an attorney before she married Dad. I know. She never practiced after I was born. She practiced once more. For your mother. Leon nodded. She created a trust that kept our house and several legitimate companies away from men trying to take them. My mother never forgot it. Mara swallowed. And you? I never forget debts. This is a debt. It began as one. The words hung between them. Began. Leone's gaze moved across her face. You spent tonight believing you were worthless because 3 people behaved as though you were disposable. Mara looked away. I don't believe that. You did when I found you. She hated how accurately he saw her. Leone continued. Your father thinks taking your home makes you powerless. He leaned forward. He is about to learn that sometimes when you throw someone away, another family gets the opportunity to recognize what you failed to value. Mara's throat tightened. Another family? Leone stood. You need sleep. That wasn't an answer. It was the only answer you're getting at 2:30 in the morning. Mara looked down at her borrowed sweater. Where exactly am I supposed to sleep? The East Suite. The room Teresa gave me? Yes. For how long? As long as you need. I can't live here. What? Because this is your house. Leone studied her. Then something rare happened. The feared Leone Arcury smiled. Not the faint sarcastic curve she had seen earlier. A genuine smile. Teresa already moved your suitcase upstairs. That doesn't mean anything. She threw the suitcase away. Mara blinked. What? She said it was ruined. My clothes were inside. They're being cleaned. Mara stared. You people make decisions very quickly. We're efficient. I'm buying another suitcase. I would recommend one with stronger handles. She glared. He walked toward the door. Good night, Mara. Leone. He stopped. She looked at the computer. Then at him. What happens when my father discovers I know? His smile disappeared. He will come for you. A chill moved through her. And what happens then? Leone's gray eyes turned cold. He discovers you're no longer standing alone. 6 hours later, Paolo Ventresca discovered his daughter had not returned. At 8:17 in the morning, 3 black vehicles stopped outside Arcury House. At 8:18, Mara woke to voices downstairs. At 8:19, she reached the upstairs balcony and looked into the foyer. Her father stood below. Giada stood behind Mara, wearing one of Teresa's robes. Leone faced Paolo at the bottom of the stairs. Nobody shouted. That somehow made the confrontation more frightening. Paolo looked up. He saw Mara. Relief crossed his face. Then anger. Get your things. Mara gripped the railing. No. You're coming home. I don't have a home. Mara, enough. Leone spoke quietly. She answered you. Paolo turned. This has nothing to do with you. Leone slipped one hand into his trouser pocket. You threw her onto a public road outside property connected to an agreement involving my money. It was a family disagreement. You left your daughter outside in a storm. My daughter. Paolo emphasized the words. Leone looked toward Mara, then back at him. Funny. What? You didn't seem to remember that last night. Paolo's jaw tightened. I will not discuss my family with you. Then leave. I'm taking Mara. No. The single word silenced the foyer. Paolo stepped closer. You cannot keep my daughter here. Leone's expression did not change. I'm not keeping her. He looked up at Mara. She can leave whenever she wants. Everyone turned toward her. For once, the decision belonged entirely to Mara. Her father waited. Leone waited. Giada waited. Mara slowly descended the staircase. She stopped 2 steps above Paolo. He looked exhausted. Older. Come home, he said. Mara thought of 12-year-old herself sitting beside him at her mother's funeral. She thought of dropping out of graduate school. Late nights repairing his company's accounts. Years spent trying to earn the affection she assumed every daughter automatically deserved. Then she remembered the recording. When Mara turns 25, Elena's shares transfer to her. Her father had not thrown away a useless daughter. He had thrown away a daughter he needed frightened enough to control. Mara looked him in the eyes. No. Paolo's face hardened. You don't understand what you're doing. For the first time, I think I do. You think Arcury will protect you? Mara glanced at Leone. No. Paolo looked almost triumphant. Then Mara finished. I think I'm going to learn how to protect myself. Leone's eyes changed. Mara continued. And until I do, I would rather live among strangers who treated me like a person than relatives who treated me like property. Paolo paled. You'll regret humiliating this family. Mara shook her head. You already did that. Paolo turned toward Leone. If anything happens to her. Leon stepped closer. His voice became almost gentle. That is the one thing you no longer need to worry about. Paolo stared at him. Leon looked past him toward Mara. Then he said the words that would spread through the city before lunchtime. The Ventrescas may have thrown their princess away. His eyes returned to Paolo. But she landed in my house. Mara's breath caught. Leon opened the front door. And in this house, we don't throw family into the rain. Paolo stood there, speechless. For the first time Mara could remember, her father had nothing to say. He walked out. The door closed. Mara stared after him. She should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt the terrifying calm that arrives just before a storm. Because inside Leon's library sat a flash drive, proving her father had lied about far more than money. Her mother had left shares. Renata had disappeared. $11 million were missing. And Mara's 25th birthday was 6 weeks away. But the greatest secret had not yet been opened. On the flash drive was one final folder. It had no company name, no date, only 2 words. Mara's inheritance. And when Leon opened it later that morning, he discovered something that made even him stop speaking. Because Elena Ventresca had not left her daughter a few shares. She had left Mara control of the one asset Paolo Ventresca, Renata, and half the city's criminal elite had been fighting over for 12 years. And someone had already decided Mara could not be allowed to reach her 25th birthday with it still in her name. If you're enjoying Mara's transformation from the daughter everyone dismissed into the woman holding a secret powerful people are afraid of, make sure you're subscribed, because what Leon finds inside that folder changes everything about why Mara was thrown away, and why bringing her in his home may have just started the most dangerous battle of his life. Leon did not open the folder immediately. That frightened Mara more than if he had. He sat behind the enormous desk in his library, one hand resting beside the laptop, the other curled loosely against his jaw. Massimo stood near the door. Teresa had taken Giada upstairs to shower and change. For the first time since Paolo left, the house had become quiet. Too quiet. Mara stood across from Leon with both hands braced on the desk. Open it. Leon looked at her. You haven't slept. Neither have you. That isn't an argument. It is today. His gaze moved to the screen. The folder remained unopened. Mara's inheritance. 2 ordinary words. Yet something about them had changed Leon's entire posture. You already know what's inside, Mara said. No. You suspect. Yes. What? He leaned back. Your mother was an attorney. She created asset protections sophisticated enough to shield my family when everyone around us was looking for a weakness. So I do not believe she left you a simple trust. Then what? Leon looked toward Massimo. Close the door. Massimo did. Mara's pulse quickened. Leon clicked the folder. Inside were 12 documents. 1 video file. 3 scanned deeds. A corporate registry. 2 handwritten letters. And a photograph. Mara stared at the photograph first. Her mother stood beside a stone building near the harbor. Younger. Smiling. Alive in a way Mara had almost forgotten. Beside Elena stood another woman Mara did not recognize. Between them was a brass plaque. Porto Vecchio Development Trust. Mara frowned. What is that? Leon went still. Massimo stepped closer. Boss. I see it. Mara looked between them. What? Leon opened the registry. He scanned the first page. Then the second. His expression hardened. Your mother created the trust. Obviously. No. He looked at her. She created the entire development structure. Mara stared. I don't understand. Leon turned the laptop toward her. The southern waterfront used to belong to 4 families. Ventresca was one. Yes. Arcuri was another. What were the others? Belluno and Santoro. Mara recognized the names. Old families. Old money. Old criminal rivalries. All 4 wanted the harbor redevelopment rights, Leon continued. The city refused to award them directly because officials feared one family gaining control of the port. So Mom created a trust. Yes. She split ownership? Better. He opened another document. She placed the land, permits, and future development rights inside a neutral trust. And who controlled it? That is the problem. Mara read. The legal language made her head hurt. Trustee, succession, beneficial interests, voting authority, contingent inheritance. Then she saw her own name. Mara Elena Ventresca. Her stomach tightened. Why am I listed? Leone's answer came quietly. Because you are the successor trustee. Mara laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was absurd. I was 12 when she died. Which is why control was suspended. Until when? Leone looked at her. Your 25th birthday. Silence. Mara stopped breathing. 6 weeks. The room seemed to contract. And when I turned 25, you gained voting control over the trust. How much? Leone opened another page. He stared at the numbers. Enough. That is not an amount. 41%. Mara blinked. 41% of what? The entire Southern Harbor redevelopment zone. She stared. That can't be right. It is. 41%. Yes. In money. Leone looked at Massimo. Massimo gave the smallest shake of his head. Leone answered anyway. Current projected value? Mara nodded. Somewhere between 600 and 800 million. She actually laughed this time. A sharp, stunned sound. That is ridiculous. Probably. I have $43. I remember. I slept in your guest room, wearing borrowed sweatpants. Yes. And you're telling me I control almost $1 billion? Not yet. The words hit harder. Mara's expression changed. Leone continued. Right now, the trust is managed by interim custodians. Who? He scrolled. Paolo Ventresca. Her stomach sank. Of course. And Leone's jaw tightened. Renata Ventresca. Mara stared. My stepmother? Yes. Ow! Your father amended the custodial board after Elena died. Could he legally do that? Apparently. Apparently? Leone looked at her. I need my attorneys to review it. Mara stepped away from the desk. So all these years, she pressed one hand against her forehead. All these years Dad controlled something Mom left to me. Yes. And when I turn 25, he loses control. Yes. And that's why he needed me desperate. Most likely. So I would sign away my rights. Leone did not answer. He did not need to. Mara looked at the screen. Open the video. He hesitated. Leone. He clicked. The video began with static. Then Elena appeared. Mara forgot how to breathe. Her mother sat at a wooden desk. Same dark hair Mara remembered. Same green eyes. Older than the photographs. Tired, but smiling. If you're watching this, Mara, then either I am gone or I failed to explain everything before I had the chance. Mara gripped the edge of the desk. Leone watched her, not the video. Elena continued. I hope you're angry with me. Mara's throat tightened. Because anger means you survived long enough to hear this. Mara covered her mouth. The room disappeared. Only Elena remained. I created the Porto Vecchio Trust because men far more powerful than me were fighting over land they believed would make them untouchable. Elena gave a tired smile. They were wrong. The land itself was never the power. She leaned closer to the camera. The power was controlling who could use it. Mara looked at Leone. He nodded slightly. Elena continued. Your father agreed to serve as interim custodian because I believed family would matter more to him than ambition. She looked down. I was wrong. Mara's chest tightened. I began noticing transfers. Agreements I had not approved. Side arrangements involving Renata and members of the Belluno family. Leone's expression changed. Mara noticed. Belluno. We'll get there. Elena continued. When I challenged Paolo, he told me I was becoming emotional. Mara laughed bitterly. Of course he had. He wanted me to sign permanent control to him. Elena's expression hardened. I refused. Mara leaned closer. If something happens to me, the trust remains frozen until Mara turns 25. Her mother looked directly into the camera. Sweetheart, I am sorry. Mara stopped breathing. I never wanted this to become your burden. A tear slid down Elena's cheek. But if I cannot protect you forever, then I can at least make sure no one controls your future for you. Mara's eyes burned. You will be pressured. You will be told you are too young, too emotional, too inexperienced, too naive. Mara closed her eyes. Every word. Her father had used every word. Elena continued. They will try to convince you to surrender control for your own good. She smiled sadly. Do not. Mara's tears fell. If you want to sell everything, sell it. If you want to turn it into parks, build parks. If you want to walk away from all of it, walk away. But make that decision yourself. Mara looked toward Leon. He stood completely still. Elena's final words came quietly. And if Paolo ever makes you believe you are powerless, remember this. He never owned your future. He only borrowed time until you were old enough to take it back. The video ended. Mara did not move. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Then she whispered. She knew. Leon nodded. She knew Dad would try. Yes. She knew something might happen to her. Yes. Mara's face hardened. Then her death was not an accident. Leon did not answer immediately. Not necessarily. Don't. Mara. You heard Renata. I heard a recording suggesting your father and Renata knew more than they admitted. That is enough. It is enough to investigate. She glared. You're protecting him. No. His voice became firm. I am protecting you from making decisions before we have proof. You think I'm emotional? No. That's exactly what my mother warned about. Leon walked around the desk. He stopped several feet away. I think you are furious. I am. You should be. And furious people deserve facts before they choose what to do with them. Mara stared. He continued. I will never tell you your anger makes you incapable. Something inside her softened despite herself. But I will tell you when anger is being used by someone else to point you toward the wrong target. She looked away. Fine. Fine. Investigate. Leon's mouth moved faintly. That sounded painful. Don't enjoy it. I'm trying not to. Massimo's phone buzzed. He checked it. His expression immediately changed. Boss. Leon turned. We found Renata. Mara straightened. Where? Massimo hesitated. Belluno Estate. Leon's face became cold. Mara looked between them. What? Leon answered. Victor Belluno has spent 15 years trying to obtain control of Porto Vecchio. Mara stared. So Renata ran straight to him. Yes. Why? Because she was never just your father's wife. Cold moved through Mara. What are you saying? Leon walked back to the desk. He opened another file from the drive. Renata. Inside were photographs. Young Renata. Victor Belluno. Hotel lobbies. Private meetings. Transfers. Mara stared. Were they having an affair? Possibly. Possibly. The relationship predates her marriage to your father. Mara's stomach turned. She knew him first. Yes. And Dad may have married her without realizing where her loyalty actually was. Mara thought of Renata entering their home 14 months after Elena died. Her sudden presence. Her fascination with company records. Her insistence that Mara's mother's belongings be removed from the main rooms. It all shifted. You think Belluno planted her. I think we need proof. Mara almost snapped at him, then caught herself. Facts. Before decisions. She hated that he was right. Do we go to her? No. Why? Because if Belluno realizes we know she has the flash drive, he will move faster. He already knows it's missing. Not necessarily where it went. Giada appeared in the doorway. Her hair was wet. She wore one of Teresa's dresses. What happens to Mom? Mara looked at her. Giada's face was pale. Despite everything, Mara felt a sudden ache. Renata might have treated Mara horribly, but to Giada, she was still her mother. Mara knew exactly what it felt like to have the image of a parent collapse. We don't know yet, Mara said. Giada looked at Leon. Will you hurt her? Leon's expression did not change. No. Mara glanced at him. He added, I want answers. Giada exhaled. Mara noticed how badly her hand were trembling. She reached out. Giada looked at her hand, then took it. Neither spoke. That afternoon, Mara discovered something strange. Archery House changed around her. Not because Leon ordered anyone to behave differently. Because Teresa did. A tailor arrived. Then a hairdresser. Then 3 women carrying garment bags. Mara stood in the upstairs sitting room staring at them. No. Teresa folded her arms. Yes. I don't need new clothes. Your clothes smell like rain and betrayal. Mara blinked. That was unnecessarily dramatic. It was accurate. I can buy clothes myself. With what? Mara opened her mouth. Teresa lifted one eyebrow. Exactly. I'll repay Leon. These are not from Leon. Mara looked suspiciously at the garment bags. Then who? Me. You bought all this? Teresa looked offended. I have been waiting years for someone in this house worth dressing. Mara laughed. What about Leon? Black suit, white shirt, black suit, white shirt. It is like dressing a funeral. Mara laughed harder. Teresa smiled. There she is. Mara stopped. There who is? The girl who should have been allowed to laugh more. The word struck unexpectedly. Mara looked down. Teresa softened. You do not have to become someone else because your life changed. I don't know who I am now. Yes, you do. Mara looked at her. You are Mara. Teresa touched her cheek. Money does not make you more important. Being thrown away did not make you less important. Mara swallowed. And the rest? You decide. Mara thought of Elena's video. You decide. She smiled faintly. Show me the clothes. That evening, Leon found her in the library. He stopped. Mara wore a deep green dress. Simple. Elegant. Nothing like Giada's designer gowns. Nothing like the muted clothes Renata always encouraged Mara to wear. Teresa had left Mara's hair loose. Leon stared too long. Mara noticed. What? Nothing. You are very bad at lying. I disagree. You're staring. I'm observing. Observing what? He looked at her. You. The answer changed the room. Mara folded her arms. That sounded suspiciously like flirting. I wouldn't know. You run a criminal organization and yet flirting confuses you? Most people don't require much flirting around me. Mara raised one eyebrow. That is not impressive. I'm learning. She smiled. Leon walked toward the desk. I have news. The softness vanished. Renata. Yes. What happened? She met Victor Belluno. And she gave him a duplicate. A duplicate of the flash drive? Yes. Mara's stomach tightened. So he has everything. Not everything. Why? Giada copied the drive before removing it. Mara looked toward the doorway. Did she? She was smarter than anyone gave her credit for. Mara almost smiled. Don't tell her that. She'll become impossible. I suspect that happened years ago. Fair. Leon opened a folder. Belluno now knows your inheritance becomes active in 6 weeks. So what does he want? Control. Ow! Marriage. Mara stared. What? Leon slid a document toward her. An old contingency clause. Mara read. If the successor trustee marries into a beneficiary family before the age of 25. She stopped. What is this? A loophole. Explain. If you married someone from one of the original beneficiary families before your birthday, your voting rights could be shared under the original charter. Mara stared. That is insane. It was written decades ago. Who qualifies? Ventresca. Obviously. Arcury. She looked up. Belluno. Yes. Santoro. Yes. Mara laughed. So that's it. What? Someone is going to try to marry me. Yes. That is absurd. Yes. Who? Leon's expression became cold. Belluno has a son. Mara frowned. Adrian. You know him? Everyone knows him. Adrian Belluno. 31. Polished. Charming. Photographed constantly. He was famous for expensive cars, political fundraisers, and dating actresses. Mara's face twisted. No. You haven't heard the proposal. I don't need to. That was fast. I once watched him yell at a waiter because the champagne was too warm. Leon looked impressed. Strong legal analysis. I'm thorough. His mouth moved. Mara looked back at the clause. And you? He became still. What about me? You qualify too. Yes. The air changed. Mara looked at him carefully. Is that why you brought me here? Leon's expression hardened immediately. No. You knew about the trust? Not until today. You knew my mother. I knew of her. You knew my father's accounts were dirty. Yes. And you helped me. Yes. Mara's voice lowered. Do you want control of Porto Vecchio? Yes. The honesty hit her. She stared. You do. Yes. You could have lied. I could. Then why admit it? Because I want Porto Vecchio for business reasons. He stepped closer. But I do not need to own you to negotiate for it. Mara held his gaze. You could marry me. Yes. And gain influence. Yes. And you're not going to propose? No. Why? Leon looked at her for a long moment. Because you were thrown out of one house by people who use family as leverage. His voice dropped. I will not make my house another place where affection comes attached to a contract. Mara's throat tightened. She looked away. Affection. He said nothing. She glanced back. Leon's expression gave nothing away. Before she could press him, Massimo entered. Boss. Leon turned. Belluno's here. Mara stared. Here. At the gate. With Adrian. Leon's face became ice. Mara looked down at the green dress. Then at him. Let them in. No. That is not your decision. His eyes narrowed. You are enjoying that sentence. A little. Mara. They came because of me. They came because they think you are vulnerable. Then I would like to disappoint them. Leon watched her. Then nodded once. Fine. Victor Belluno entered Arcury House 20 minutes later. He was in his 60s. Silver hair. Perfect suit. A smile that never reached his eyes. Adrian walked beside him. Handsome. Confident. Smiling as though he were arriving at a party. Renata was not with them. Mara stood beside Leon in the formal salon. Not behind him. Beside. Victor noticed. Miss Ventresca. Mara smiled. Mr. Belluno. You've had an eventful evening. So I hear. Adrian stepped forward. Mara. She looked at him. He took her hand before she offered it. Leon's entire posture changed. Adrian kissed the air above her knuckles. Beautiful. Mara gently removed her hand. Thank you. Adrian smiled. You probably don't remember me. I remember the champagne incident. His smile faltered. Leon looked away to hide amusement. Victor stepped in. We're not here to discuss old misunderstandings. No, Mara said. You're here because you discovered I own something you want. Victor's face changed slightly. You are direct. I've had a busy 24 hours. He smiled. I admire that. Good. Mara sat. You can admire it while explaining why my stepmother is at your estate. Silence. Adrian looked at Victor. Victor remained calm. Renata came to me frightened. Of what? Your father. What? She believes Paolo intends to blame her for financial irregularities. Did she participate? Victor smiled faintly. That depends on how one defines participation. Let's define it as stealing money. Adrian laughed. Victor did not. Mara continued. Did she? Victor leaned back. You inherited Elena's temper. Mara froze. You knew my mother. Very well. Leon's gaze sharpened. Mara asked how well. Victor studied her. Well enough to know she would hate seeing you involved with Arcury. Leon's face became unreadable. Mara smiled. My mother helped his family. Victor's expression shifted. She helped many people. And you? Victor's eyes cooled. She opposed me. That sounds more believable. Adrian stepped forward. Mara, nobody wants conflict. She looked at him. Then why are you here? He smiled. To offer a solution. Leon went still. Mara almost laughed. Of course. Adrian continued. Victor stepped in. We're not here to discuss old misunderstandings. No, Mara said. You're here because you discovered I own something you want. Victor's face changed slightly. You are direct. I've had a busy 24 hours. He smiled. I admire that. Good. Mara sat. You can admire it while explaining why my stepmother is at your estate. Silence. Adrian looked at Victor. Victor remained calm. Renata came to me frightened. Of what? Your father. Why? She believes Paolo intends to blame her for financial irregularities. Did she participate? Victor smiled faintly. That depends on how one defines participation. Let's define it as stealing money. Adrian laughed. Victor did not. Mara continued. Did she? Victor leaned back. You inherited Elena's temper. Mara froze. You knew my mother. Very well. Leon's gaze sharpened. Mara asked how well. Victor studied her. Well enough to know she would hate seeing you involved with Arcury. Leon's face became unreadable. Mara smiled. My mother helped his family. Victor's expression shifted. She helped many people. And you? Victor's eyes cooled. She opposed me. That sounds more believable. Adrian stepped forward. Mara, nobody wants conflict. She looked at him. Then why are you here? He smiled. To offer a solution. Leon went still. Mara almost laughed. Of course. Adrian continued. Our families have been connected for decades. The Porto Vecchio Trust was designed to prevent conflict between us. And the cleanest solution is unity. Mara looked at Leon. He said nothing. She returned her attention to Adrian. You want to marry me? His smile widened. I would prefer to say I want the opportunity to know you. You've known I existed for years. That's fair. And you decided to become interested 14 hours after discovering my inheritance. Adrian's smile weakened. Mara continued. Very romantic. Victor's expression hardened. You should consider the practical benefits. There it is. Mara, you want 41%. We want stability. No, you want control with better vocabulary. Leon's mouth almost twitched. Victor looked toward him. You filled her head quickly. Leon answered softly. She arrived with one. Mara looked at him. Victor did not appreciate it. He rose. You are making a mistake. Mara remained seated. Which one? Trusting him. I trust him more than the people who threw my belongings into the rain. Victor's eyes sharpened. You have known him one day. Yes. And your family your entire life. Mara smiled sadly. That comparison is not helping your argument. Adrian stepped closer. Mara, I'm not your enemy. Then don't treat me like a business asset. I'm offering protection. I already have protection. Adrian glanced at Leon. For how long? Leon answered. As long as she wants it. Adrian smiled. That sounds expensive. Leon's eyes became cold. Not everything has a price. Victor laughed once. Coming from you? Leon leaned back. Coming from me. Mara stood. This meeting is over. Victor looked at her. Think carefully. I have. You have 6 weeks. I know. And when the trust transfers, people will challenge you. I know. You need a powerful family beside you. Mara looked around Archery House. Teresa stood quietly near the doorway. Massimo waited beyond her. Giada watched from the staircase. Leon stood beside Mara. For the first time since childhood, Mara understood something. Family was not only blood. It was who stayed when staying became inconvenient. She smiled. I already found one. Victor's face hardened. He left. Adrian followed. At the door, Adrian looked back at Mara. This isn't finished. Mara answered. It is for me. 3 weeks passed. Mara did not become a princess because Leon bought her dresses. He did not. Teresa did. She did not become a princess because she moved into a mansion. She insisted on paying rent once her frozen wages from Ventresca imports were recovered. Leon called the amount insulting. She called it symbolic. He accepted. She became something far more dangerous than the discarded daughter her father remembered. She learned. Every morning, Leon's attorneys taught her the trust. Every afternoon, she sat with accountants reviewing Porto Vecchio. Every evening, she asked questions until men twice her age stopped assuming she would become confused by complicated answers. She discovered the trust employed nearly 4,000 people. Dock workers, engineers, drivers, office staff, families whose futures depended on decisions made inside rooms they would never enter. That changed everything. Selling was no longer just about freedom. Control was not just about revenge. Mara began creating a plan. She rejected Belluno's proposal. She rejected a private offer from Santoro. And when Paolo finally requested a formal meeting, Mara agreed. Her father arrived at Archery House 5 days before her birthday. This time, he came alone. He looked older. The company's scandal had spread. Investigators were examining the missing funds. Renata had not returned home. Giada refused to leave Mara. Paolo sat across from his daughters. He looked at Giada first. Come home. She shook her head. His face crumpled slightly. Then he looked at Mara. I made mistakes. Mara waited. I was afraid. Of what? Losing everything. You mean losing Mom's trust? Yes. That was never yours. His jaw tightened. I managed it for 13 years. For me. For this family. No. Mara leaned forward. You managed it because you believed I would eventually sign it over. Paolo said nothing. You threw me away because you wanted me desperate. His eyes dropped. Giada stared at him. Dad. Paolo's silence answered. Mara felt no triumph. Only sadness. You really did. I believed once you saw how difficult life could be alone, you would reconsider. Mara laughed softly. You wanted to teach me I couldn't survive without you. Yes. The honesty was ugly, but at least it was honest. Mara nodded. Well, she looked toward Leone, standing near the window. Then Teresa. Massimo. Giada. Mara smiled faintly. That lesson went badly. Paolo looked at Leone with open resentment. He took advantage. Mara's expression hardened. No. He gave you everything. No. She stood. He gave me a room. Paolo stared. Teresa gave me clothes. Massimo gave me information. Giada gave me the drive. My mother gave me the trust. Mara stepped closer, and Leone gave me space to decide what I wanted without charging me for it. Paolo looked away. That is more than you gave me. He swallowed. Can you forgive me? Mara went still. The question she had wanted for years. An apology. A request. A chance to decide. She looked at him. I don't know. Paolo's face fell. Mara continued. But I won't lie to make you feel better. He nodded slowly. That's fair. It was the first fair thing they had shared in years. 2 days later, the investigation into Elena's death changed. Massimo found the original mechanic who had inspected her car after the crash. The brake line had failed. Not naturally. Someone had tampered with it. The report had been altered. Paolo denied knowing. Renata did not. She agreed to speak through an attorney after Belluno abandoned her. Her statement broke the final lie. Victor Belluno had ordered the sabotage. Renata knew. Paolo learned the truth after Elena died, and he buried it. Not because he wanted Elena dead, because Belluno threatened to expose Paolo's financial crimes and destroy Ventresca imports. Mara sat inside the library when she read the statement. Leone stood beside her. He knew. Yes. He knew who caused it. Yes. And said nothing. Yes. Mara closed the file. For years, she had needed a villain simple enough to hate. Instead, she found something worse. Cowardice. Her father had loved Elena, and when protecting her memory became expensive, he chose himself. Mara did not visit him. Not that day. Her 25th birthday arrived beneath clear skies. Archery House was full. Not with politicians. Not with criminal families. Mara refused. She invited trust employees, clinic directors, doc representatives, Teresa's family, Giada, a handful of old university friends she had almost lost. Leone watched from the edge of the garden. At noon, Mara signed the final succession documents. 41% of Porto Vecchio passed legally under her voting control. Everyone applauded. Mara felt strange. No crown. No throne. Just a pen. Afterward, Leone found her alone on the balcony. You disappeared from your own party. I needed quiet. He stood beside her. Regrets. Several. About today? No. She looked over the city. I thought becoming powerful would feel different. Ow! Louder! Leone smiled faintly. Real power is often quiet. Mara looked at him. You would say that. I have experience. She leaned against the railing. What happens now? You tell me. Mara smiled. I'm keeping the trust. I expected that. I'm restructuring the board. I expected that too. Ventresca loses custodial control. Obviously, Belluno loses all development privileges pending investigation. Leone looked impressed. An Arcury? Mara turned toward him. You want a deal? I always want a deal. There he is. His mouth moved. Mara continued. I'll renew the Arcury shipping contract. Generous. At market rate. Less generous. And 50% of the apprenticeship positions go to local families. Leone studied her. You planned this. For 3 weeks. You hit it. You taught me negotiation. I created a problem. You did. They smiled. Then Leone became serious. Mara. What? He reached into his pocket. Her stomach tightened. Do not. He stopped. What? If that is a ring, I am throwing you off this balcony. For the first time, Leone laughed. Actually laughed. It transformed his face. No ring. Good. He opened his hand. A key. Mara frowned. What is that? East Wing. I already live there. No. He placed the key in her palm. The deed. Her eyes widened. Leone. It has been transferred into a separate legal holding. I told you I'm paying rent. You are. Then why give me a deed? Because the East Wing is no longer mine. Mara stared. You cannot give me part of your house. I just did. What? His expression softened. The first night you arrived, you asked how long you could stay. She remembered. As long as you need. Leon continued. You should never have to ask that question again. Mara's throat tightened. This is too much. No, it is. He shook his head. Your family taught you that having a home depended on behaving correctly. Mara looked down at the key. I want you to have one nobody can take because they are angry. Her eyes burned. Leon, you don't have to accept it. Mara looked at him. Liar. His eyebrow lifted. You absolutely want me to accept it. Yes. She laughed through the tears. He smiled. Mara closed her fingers around the key. Fine. Fine. Don't ruin it. I wouldn't dare. She looked back toward the garden. Giada was arguing with Teresa over cake. Massimo stood beside the fountain pretending he was not listening. People laughed. Music drifted through the doors. Mara thought of that rainy road. The broken suitcase. $43. The feeling that the entire world had decided she was unwanted. She had believed Leon rescued her. Now she understood he had done something more valuable. He had given her somewhere safe enough to rescue herself. You know, Mara said, your staff has started calling me something. Leon looked suspicious. What? Principessa? His mouth twitched. Princess. Yes. You hate it. I thought I would. And Mara looked around Archery House. At the people who had chosen to stay. No. She smiled. I think they mean it differently than my father would. Ow. Mara thought. My father would have called someone a princess because she needed protecting. Leon waited. Mara looked at him. Teresa calls me one because she thinks I should remember my value. Leon's eyes softened. That sounds like Teresa. Mara bumped her shoulder lightly against his. And you? What about me? Why do you call me Mara instead? His answer came quietly. Because princess is a title. He looked directly at her. Mara is the woman who survived without one. For once, she had no clever reply. She smiled. 5 months later, Mara returned to the Ventresca mansion. Not to move back. To sell it. Paolo had transferred his interest during the criminal investigation. Giada wanted nothing to do with the property. Mara walked through the empty foyer. The staircase. The dining room. Her old bedroom upstairs. Then she walked outside. The driveway was dry. She stood exactly where her suitcase had landed. Leon waited by the car. You okay? Mara looked at the house. Yes. Sell. Yes. What are you doing with the money? Affordable housing near Porto Vecchio. Leon nodded. Your mother would approve. I think so. Mara turned away from the mansion. She did not look back. The house had once represented everything she believed she needed. Her father's approval. Belonging. A family name. Security. Now it was only stone. Her home waited elsewhere. With Teresa shouting from the kitchen. Giada stealing her shoes. Massimo pretending he did not care about anyone. And Leon standing beside a black car, holding the door open as though picking up a soaked stranger on the highway had been the most ordinary thing he had ever done. Mara stopped before climbing inside. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't stopped that night? Leon looked at her. Yes. What? You would have survived. She smiled. That confident? Yes. How? I don't know. That isn't very convincing. He stepped closer. You were already surviving before I arrived. His voice softened. I just happened to have a warmer car. Mara laughed. Then she climbed inside. Her family had thrown her away, believing hardship would make her crawl back. Instead, the road they abandoned her on led somewhere they could never have predicted. It led to the truth about her mother, to the inheritance they had hidden, to a sister who finally learned loyalty, to a house where nobody measured love by usefulness, and to Leon Archery, the fear Mafia boss everyone expected to treat people like possessions. The man who did the opposite. He gave Mara choices. And because he did, she became something far more formidable than the frightened daughter her family had thrown into the rain. She became the woman who decided what happened next. If Mara's journey from being discarded by her own family to taking control of her future kept you watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next emotional Mafia story. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What was your favorite moment? Was it when Leon stopped for Mara in the rain? When she refused Adrian Belluno's marriage proposal? when her mother's video revealed the truth, or when Leon gave her a home nobody could ever take away? Tell me below. And if you enjoyed the story, like the video and share it with someone who loves powerful stories about betrayal, unexpected family, hidden inheritances, and the moment an underestimated woman finally realizes exactly what she is worth.